everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to the Just Ballin' podcast. And today we are going to be talking about the final series of the 2025 NBA season, the Indiana Pacers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder here in the NBA Finals. You could say this is a shocking finals matchup. You could say it's maybe not that shocking. I think it's more so the Indiana Pacers side of things. They were able to defeat the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games in round number 1. Shockingly, were able to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in 5 games in round number 2. And then they ended up beating the New York Knicks in 6 games in round number 3 to win the Eastern Conference after losing to the Boston Celtics last year. The Oklahoma City Thunder swept the Memphis Grizzlies. Some absolute blowouts in round number 1, and then Ja Morant got hurt in game number 3, or some blowouts in the first 2 games. And then in round number 2, they were battle tested, man. This was the toughest matchup they had in the playoffs so far. They went to 7 games against the Denver Nuggets. The Pacers didn't go to 7 games against any team, and the Thunder, who are definitely going to be the favorites in this series, went to 7 games against the Denver Nuggets. It was one of the best series in these playoffs. I kind of want to just rank every series in my head and figure out what was the best, and I do think that is going to be up there because that game 7, it didn't really age it wasn't a great entertaining game, and I know a lot of game 7s don't really age well, and they don't live up to the expectations, and we're never going to have that many 2016 NBA final game 7s, but man, that series was a lot of fun for the Denver Nuggets team that was banged up, that had an interim head coach, and the Thunder were battle tested, and I think that will help them because if they were just kind of coasting through the Western Conference, there wasn't going to be that many high leverage moments for them, or at least games where they have to come back down, and they haven't been down in any, well, they were down 1-0 against Denver, I guess, so they were technically down, and then they ended up beating the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games. Beat them in the first 2, got blown out in game 3, which was kind of crazy, just to look at. And then they ended up winning game 4, and game number 5 to win that series. So, yeah, I mean, the betting odds are going to definitely favor the Oklahoma City Thunder a ton in this series, and I don't disagree with them. The Thunder were the best defensive team in the NBA this year, and honestly, for what they've been doing in the playoffs, they're going to go down as one of the best defensive teams of all time. They could go down as one of the best NBA teams of all time. So right now, their record is basically 80 in 17, 18. They're 80 and 18 right now, which is incredible. That is absurd because they have 4 losses in the playoffs and they've had 12 wins so far. They ended up with the best defense in the NBA this year, the best net rating, and the 3rd best offense. They traded away Josh Giddey last offseason for Alex Caruso. When you may be like, what the long-term value of Giddey or the upside, it's probably better individually than Caruso, but that's not what the Thunder needed after last year and Giddey's lack of shooting in the playoffs. They were able to go out and get maybe the best player they possibly could of last year. So far in the playoffs too. I mean, Caruso has had some unreal games in the playoffs. I guess more so in that Denver series. I mean, he was amazing, especially on the defensive end of the floor against Minnesota. He's shooting 46% from the field, 41% from 3, averaging around 9 points, but it's just the defense, the switchability, the veteran leadership he has on that end of the floor, the ability just to run in transition, be a good post defender for somebody at his size. The way he was able to guard Jokic in some of those matchups was really impressive. I know you can be like, what, he fouled a bunch. And hey, there were some possessions that were probably fouls and some that weren't called, and there were probably some fouls that maybe shouldn't have been called. It definitely goes both ways, but the Thunder learned from their mistakes last year. Sam Presti realized, we can't run majority of this team back. We can't keep Josh Giddey and just draft a couple guys. We're also going to go out and sign Isaiah Hartenstein, who's fit like a glove into this team as well. He's in the midst of his prime, and he's been a great defensive complementary piece to this team. He sets hard screens, he can run DHOs, and he can catch alley-oops for the Thunder in the half court, and he's just been perfect for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's MVP season. Who is going to be the best player in this series, right? Like, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander number 1, and then you're going to give the nod to Tyrese Haliburton probably as the 2nd best player. And then do you think that the Pacers have the 3rd best player? Is that Siakam? Or is that going to be Jalen Williams? Is that going to be Chet Holmgren, who both have had solid playoffs so far? Now, you'd like for maybe both of them to be a little bit better shooting the ball from 3, but a lot of these guys, their 3-point shot does crater a little bit in the playoffs, so it takes a little bit of a hit. I think you need Lou Dort to step up if you're the OKC Thunder. He's been way too inconsistent throughout their first few games, or first 3 rounds in the playoffs. Keeson Wallace could be a little bit better offensively. Same with Aaron Wiggins, but Wallace has been incredible on the defensive end of the floor, and I really like what I've seen out of Kenrich Williams defensively. I mean, it's really in a pinch, and there's been times where it's not high leverage moments, but hey, there's something there for at least Kenrich Williams as a whole. As for the Indiana Pacers, man, I mean, this is an incredible run. I think you could be like, there was always a debate that, like, what team not named the Cavs or the Celtics had the best chance of making it to the conference finals. And I bounced all over the place. If you asked me in the beginning of the year, like, when the Cavs were clearly better than the Knicks, I would have said it's the Knicks still. And then after the Knicks went 0-10 against the Thunder, the Cavs, and the Celtics in the regular season, I would have been like, you know what, it's probably Milwaukee. Like, if anything, it's going to be Giannis going, like, 2018 LeBron Super Saiyan mode. But no, it's been the Indiana Pacers because of their three-point shooting, because of the pace that they're able to play with, because of their long rebounding. If they're able to, or if they miss shots, they're a great rebounding team offensively. And their defense isn't perfect by any means, but they got depth. And I mean, the bench defense isn't great, and that's going to be a big thing for them here in the playoffs. They finished the year around 13th defensive rating-wise. They finished 12th net rating-wise, but they were a lot better in the second half of the year, even after December 1st. So I feel like there's just like a lot of thoughts running through my mind about the Pacers because I feel like I didn't take them as serious as I should have. And I do think the Knicks were game one for the first 46 minutes of that game. I was convinced the Knicks were winning that series. Leading up to the series, I took Pacers in 7, but after watching those first 46 minutes, I'm like, this is going to be the Knicks series. They're going to win 1 or 2 at the Garden. They're going to split in Indiana. It's going to be close, but they're going to win. And then the ability to come back in that fourth quarter for Indiana, I mean, it completely, I think, changed the series. I think basically the momentum shift going on. They would both at the Garden. They dropped the first game in Indy, but hey, they ended up going up 3-1. They ended up winning in 6. What Aaron Nesmith did has to be remembered in game 1 because I do think that I didn't save their year. It was game 1, but man, we may never see something like that from a player like Aaron Nesmith again. It's not like it's Steph Curry or Damian Lillard that did that. It was Aaron Nesmith. Tyrese Halliburton had his moments, including that phenomenal game 4 performance against the New York Knicks, where I'm just pulling up the stat line right now. He ended up shooting 47% from the field, 41% from 3, 15 assists, 4 steals, 12 rebounds, 32 points. So a 32-point triple-double on good efficiency with 0 turnovers. It was one of the greatest performances. And as a Knicks fan, I was like, I can't even appreciate this right now. He was good for the Pacers in game number 6. He was not good for them in game number 5 at the Garden. So we'll see how these teams are going to look. Obviously, this series is going to start in OKC, given home court for them. They have never lost 4 games in any 7-game span this season, which is kind of crazy. And yeah, the Nuggets were very close to doing so. They were the best defensive team in the NBA. They have the highest opponent turnover rate at 16.9%. And their defensive rating in the playoffs is a 104.7. It's incredible the amount of defenders they could throw at Tyrese Halliburton. And if they're going to learn anything from the Knicks, pick Halliburton up as soon as he crosses half court. The Knicks had a little bit more success when Mikal Bridges was doing that, and then you just got to rotate well, and the Thunder rotate as good as any other team. They know where to be on the floor, and you have elite defensive big men of Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. If they drop, if they play up, they know where to be, both in the rotations and where to be on the pick and roll. So this is going to be a tough test for the Indiana Pacers offense, which was incredible in the playoffs, and it was pretty good for them in the regular season. Maybe a little disappointing after being the second-ranked offense in 24, but they finished 9th in offensive rating in 25. But like I said before, they were one of the best teams in the NBA after December 1st. So this is, man, I do think that Pacers would have put up a better fight than the Knicks. So I think for a neutral fan, you got to be very happy that the Pacers ended up beating the Knicks because I think this is going to provide more entertainment and they would have definitely better upset potential. I'm predicting that the Pacers are going to split the first 2 in Oklahoma City. I think they're going to walk away with at least one of those. Now, if they win game 1, that'll be interesting. OKC did lose game 1 against Denver, but man, that home crowd comes through. They're going to be wearing the shirts, and I think that is going to be, oh man, that's going to set up the series a little bit. I think the Pacers are 9.5-point underdogs, but I do think that they're going to have the offensive potential where they're going to be able to steal one on the road. Because also too, for the Pacers, man, it is incredible. Like, you're going to get some shooting variance. You're going to get a ton of shooting variance with them, but what they're able to do when everybody's kind of going from 3-point range, man, there was a game, what was it? It was I want to say it was game 6 against the Knicks. No, it was game 4, excuse me, the Halliburton game, where in the first quarter, they shot as a team. I don't know if I can find this up really quickly, but in the first quarter, they shot 68% from the field and 75% from three and scored 43 points in the first quarter. The Knicks shot 56% from the field and 50% from three, and it felt like it was a completely different ballgame. The Pacers ended up scoring 43 points in that first quarter, and it's just like you're going to get the shooting variance with them, because if you look at game number 5, where the Knicks ended up beating them by 17, they got good looks. They got good looks that they're not going to get mainly against the Thunder, because the Thunder's defense is a lot better than the Knicks. But like Halliburton shot 28% from the field, Siakam 38%, Nembhard 37%. But there's games where Benedict Mathurin can get it going coming off the bench. TJ McConnell, we'll see if the Thunder should do what the Knicks should do and target him every defensive possession for the Pacers, because he's a good offensive player. He's not going to take a lot of threes. He'll take them if they're wide open, but he's got one of the probably one of the best mid-range jumpers in the NBA, and can get downhill. And is maybe a little bit quicker, than Case and Wallace or some of the guard defenders that may guard him, like Shea. But you need to target him on the other end of the floor, and you got to match up on TJ McConnell, get him off the floor as much as you can, because if you're not, then they can afford to keep Halliburton on the bench more and more, rest him up, and McConnell can help them, at least on the offensive end. I'm intrigued to see how Obi Toppin is going to look defensively, and if his three-point shots aren't falling, is he going to be valuable in this series? But they're going to need those guys, because Jarris Walker is out the first game or two in this series because of an injury he suffered at the end of the Knicks series, which is important, because he was probably playing a lot better than Tony Bradley and Thomas Bryant were at times because of his size. And it was nice to see Carlisle trust Jarris Walker in these high leverage moments in the playoffs, and he knocked down a couple threes against the Knicks also in that game 5. I think, like I said, I think it's going to be split in the first two, and it can go either ways. They could split in Indiana. I can't see Indiana going up 3-1, but they split in Indiana, then hey, this series can go to 7 for sure. And it could be like game 5 OKC win, game 6 Indiana win, game 7 for all the marbles, which I want. I want to see a game 7. We haven't seen it since 2016 in the finals. The most competitive finals we saw. 2019 was great. Raptors, Warriors. 2020, no, but I would say maybe 2021. 2022 were solid enough finals, at least on a competitive aspect, but it felt like 2023 and 2024 were very one-sided. So I think it's going to go split in the first two, but then I do think OKC is going to win both of them in Indiana. You know what? No, I don't. I think they're going to split them in Indiana as well. It's going to be a 2-2 series. OKC is going to win in game 5. OKC is going to win in game 6. So I'm going to have the Thunder in 6. It's chalky. It's just, I think OKC is the better team. I thought Indiana was better than the Knicks. I thought OKC was better than the Timberwolves. I went at least 2-0 in that prediction. I'm going to take the Oklahoma City Thunder, who's having like their best year in their franchise history, at least net rating wise, amount of wins wise in a regular season. You can make an argument that the 2016 Thunder team is better, the 2012 Thunder team is better. But man, you have the MVP, you have the best defensive team I've potentially have seen in quite some time, since maybe some of those Spurs teams. But I think in the modern NBA, this has been the best defense, better than the 2020 Lakers, better than any of those Bucks or Heat teams. Maybe that's a little recency bias, but the amount of guys that are just able to switch, guard multiple positions. They're able to guard on the post, on the perimeter. They're able to communicate. The transition defense is incredible as well. There's not many weaknesses. I think we're going to get, for pure hoops, people want to say, like, I don't know. It's kind of cringy when people say that. But I think, like, honestly, this is going to be a smart, high-octane run-and-gun offense versus, like, we're going to beat you down and we're going to try to just, like, take the love of the game out of you type defense. And I can't wait. I think, especially for a neutral NBA fan, I don't like the Thunder. I don't like the Pacers. I don't dislike either of the teams. I guess I slightly could dislike the Pacers more because they knocked out my Knicks. But hey, if they win a finals, I think it's pretty cool. They haven't won one since the ABA. And I know they have a diehard fan base in Indiana, which is a basketball state. And Indianapolis is a basketball city. And it would be cool to see Halliburton's legacy if he's able to add a ring at this point of his career. Do we look at him as a consensus top 10 guy in the NBA now? I think we have to right now. We'll see how he shows up in the finals. Or is the OKC Thunder a different beast? Like, are they a completely different beast than the Bucks, the Knicks, and the Cavs? Because it could definitely happen. But yeah, I am going to take the OKC Thunder to win in 6. And if they do, I mean, the Shea resume gets even better. He's got an MVP. He's got a top 2 finish that he had in 2024. He's got multiple All-NBA first teams now, 3 in a row. He's got 3 straight All-Star years in a row. Kind of wild he didn't make an All-Star appearance in 22. Maybe he was banged up in that first half. But an MVP, a finals championship, a finals MVP. He won Western Conference Finals MVP. The Shea legacy is going to grow. And hey, this Thunder team is not going to change much next year either, with a lot of their guys under contract. The team will get more expensive, so we'll see how Sam Presti operates with them. As for Indiana, I mean, it would be wild to see Pascal Siakam get a second ring, because he could be on his way to making it to the Hall of Fame. Miles Turner and him winning a ring in Indiana would be really cool, since he's been in so many trade rumors. He's been around so long. He went up against Tim Duncan at times, and he gave them 110% no matter the rumors, and he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, and I'm sure is going to be rewarded with a very nice contract extension. But yeah, I think it's going to be entertaining. I hope if it does go to 6 games, I'm hoping all 6 come down to the wire in the fourth quarter. But hey, if I can get at least 4 really good games and not a blowout series where it's like blowout after blowout after blowout, I would say the Thunder are susceptible to being blown out. But hey, that game 3 happening against Minnesota, I'm sure the Pacers are watching a ton of film on that game, seeing what went right for Minnesota. And I think the depth will help out Indiana as well. Is Ben Shepherd going to step up? Can he knock down threes? How is Aaron Nesmith going to look in this series? I know he was dealing with some injuries against the Knicks. I was out on Rick Carlisle as a head coach for a while. I thought he was pretty overrated towards the end of the Mavericks tenure, and even when he was hired by the Pacers, but got to give him the respect. He outcoached Tibbs last series. He outcoached Kenny Atkinson in round number 2, and he's optimized this team to its fullest potential. Maybe it wasn't right at first, but hey, he's gotten the most out of this group, and it would be a very impressive run for Indiana to beat Giannis. I know Dame was banged up, but hey, to beat Giannis, to beat the Cleveland Cavalier 1 seed, I know with their injuries, but still was in a very impressive dominant series win, and to beat the Knicks who beat Boston. And hey, if you could beat the 68-win Thunder team, this is going to be a very impressive finals resume for the Pacers. So yeah, let me know what you guys think your finals prediction is going to be. Do you have something similar to me? Do you have Thunder in 6? Do you think there's a chance that the Thunder sweep? Do you think there's a chance that the Pacers could win in 5 or 6 or 7 and shock a lot of people? Let me know in the YouTube comments what you guys have for my finals, or for your finals predictions. If you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, really appreciate a rating and review over there as well. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.